1. Behind the smile, when charm masks a dangerous truth. At first glance, some people seem almost too good to be true. They're charismatic, charming, and have an uncanny ability to make you feel like the center of the universe. They light up every room they walk into, speak with confidence and warmth, and seem genuinely interested in your life. It's easy to be drawn to them, to believe you found someone special. But as the Stoics would warn us, appearances can be dangerously deceiving. According to Stoic wisdom, especially from thinkers like Epictetus and Marcus Aurelius, we must not be blinded by surface-level impressions. Instead, we are called to observe people rationally and look for consistency between their words and actions. That initial charm, it might be nothing more than a mask. Over time, the cracks begin to show. Maybe this person always dominates conversations, subtly belittles others, or shifts the spotlight away from anyone else. They may interrupt you, disregard your opinions, or make jokes at your expense, all while keeping up a friendly, smiling exterior. What once seemed like warmth begins to feel more like control. The Stoic principle of apatheia, staying calm and undisturbed by external things, becomes essential here. By maintaining emotional balance, we can step back and observe their behavior with clarity, not confusion. We begin to see that this person's need to be admired isn't about connection, it's about control. In a world where charm can be weaponized, Stoicism teaches us to trust not the face people wear in public, but the patterns they reveal in private. True virtue, the Stoics remind us, is not loud or showy, it's consistent, humble, and grounded in reason. So, when someone's charisma starts to feel like manipulation, that's your cue to slow down, observe, and guard your peace. 2. When a heart turns cold. Recognizing the absence of empathy. Empathy is what allows us to connect with one another on a deeper level, to truly feel someone else's joy or pain. It's the foundation of meaningful relationships and mutual respect. But sometimes, you encounter someone who seems completely void of this basic human trait. They don't comfort you when you're struggling, they don't celebrate with you when you succeed, and worst of all, they just don't seem to care. The Stoics would tell us that this is more than a character flaw, it's a sign of deep inner disorder. Marcus Aurelius often spoke about our shared humanity and the duty we have to one another. In contrast, someone who lacks empathy is disconnected from this Stoic principle. They can listen to your pain without blinking, mock your vulnerability, or diminish your successes with envy or indifference. This isn't just emotional neglect, it's emotional damage. You might notice this in small, everyday interactions. They interrupt others constantly, steer every conversation back to themselves, or never offer a hand even when it's clearly needed. These may seem like minor annoyances at first, but over time, they reveal a pattern, a glaring absence of compassion. The Stoic response: stay centered. Don't let their coldness freeze your own warmth. Seneca reminds us that kindness is a strength, not a weakness, and we should never allow someone else's lack of empathy to strip us of our own virtue. Recognizing this trait isn't about judging others harshly, it's about protecting your own peace. If someone repeatedly shows no concern for how their words or actions affect others, it may be time to reevaluate the relationship. Set boundaries. Preserve your energy. The Stoics would want you to walk the path of reason, self-respect, and moral clarity, even when those around you do not. 3. The hidden strings, unmasking the manipulator. Manipulation is one of the most subtle yet dangerous forms of toxic behavior. Unlike open aggression, it often hides behind smiles, soft voices, and carefully chosen words. A manipulator doesn't raise their voice, they bend reality. They twist your words, play the victim, and slowly make you question your own judgment. From a Stoic perspective, this kind of behavior is a clear violation of reason, virtue, and integrity. Epictetus warned us to distinguish between what we can and cannot control. When you're being manipulated, that line starts to blur. A manipulator might use guilt to get what they want, suggesting, "If you really cared, you'd do this for me." They may flatter you when they need something and withdraw when you assert yourself. Over time, you might feel like you're constantly walking on eggshells, unsure of what's real and what's distorted. One of their most insidious tactics is gaslighting, making you doubt your own memory, emotions, or sanity. You confront them about something they said, and suddenly you're too sensitive or imagining things. Slowly, you become dependent on their version of events and start losing trust in your own perception. But the Stoics offer a way out. By practicing clear perception and emotional discipline, you begin to see through the fog. Stoicism teaches us that truth matters, not the illusion someone wants us to live in. Marcus Aurelius reminded us to stay anchored in what is true and just, even when surrounded by deception. Recognizing manipulation is the first step. The next is reclaiming your autonomy. Set boundaries. Speak with clarity. Trust your instincts. And most importantly, remember that your peace of mind is your responsibility, not theirs to control. Stoicism empowers us to remain calm, focused, and aligned with our values. So when someone tries to pull your strings, cut them, with courage, honesty, and the unwavering strength of reason. 4. The cage of control. When care becomes command. At first, controlling behavior may seem like concern. "I just want what's best for you," they'll say. But over time, you start to realize that this so-called care is actually a mask, hiding a need to dominate your choices, restrict your freedom, and slowly erode your sense of independence. To the Stoics, this kind of behavior isn't love or loyalty, it's a violation of your personal autonomy. A controlling person often disguises their actions as helpfulness. They choose where you go, who you see, even what you wear, all under the guise of knowing what's right for you. In romantic relationships, this can escalate to monitoring your location, demanding constant updates, and invading your privacy by checking your phone or social media. They may even try to isolate you, whispering that your friends or family don't understand you like they do. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus taught that while we cannot control others, we must always protect our ability to govern ourselves. When someone begins to make decisions for you, even small ones, and dismisses your voice, it's not just frustrating, it's a threat to your agency and dignity. Financial control is another common tactic. A partner might insist on managing all the money, leaving you dependent and powerless. This is not partnership, it's imprisonment. The Stoics would call this a form of enslavement, and they would urge us to resist it with strength and clarity. Stoicism teaches us to value freedom, not only physical freedom, but the freedom to think, act, and live in alignment with our principles. If someone's control begins to compromise your peace, it's time to set boundaries, assert your independence, and reclaim your voice. You deserve relationships built on mutual respect, not domination. The Stoics remind us, live by reason, not fear. And never hand over your freedom in the name of love, loyalty, or comfort. 5. Living in lies, the Stoic response to pathological deceit. Lies are a part of life, we all tell small ones now and then. But when lying becomes a constant pattern, a way of navigating the world, it turns into something far more dangerous, pathological lying. This isn't about protecting feelings or avoiding trouble, it's about manipulation, control, and the destruction of trust. From a Stoic perspective, pathological lying reflects a total rejection of reason, virtue, and personal integrity. The pathological liar doesn't just bend the truth, they build an entire reality around it. They lie about their past, their accomplishments, even the smallest details of their day-to-day life. At first, these lies might seem harmless, even impressive. But over time, you start to feel disoriented. You question your memory, your instincts, even your sense of what's real. And that's exactly what they want. The Stoics, especially Marcus Aurelius, urged us to live in harmony with truth. To them, deceit was not just immoral, it was irrational. A person who lies is at war with reality and, in turn, with themselves. They cannot be trusted because their words are no longer grounded in what is. In relationships, pathological lying can be deeply damaging. You may find yourself constantly anxious, second-guessing your partner, friend, or colleague. This kind of emotional instability undermines your well-being and sense of self. Stoicism offers a remedy: clarity and boundaries. When someone repeatedly lies to you, recognize that this behavior speaks to their character, not your worth. Epictetus taught us to focus only on what we can control: our choices, our reactions, our values. You can't force someone to tell the truth, but you can decide not to participate in their false reality. If someone's lies are poisoning your peace of mind, you have every right to walk away. Protect your mental and emotional space like the Stoics protected their virtue, firmly, calmly, and without apology. Setting boundaries. The Stoic way to protect your peace. There comes a point when protecting your mental, emotional, and even physical well-being becomes non-negotiable. One of the most powerful tools we have in doing so is learning to set healthy boundaries. Far from being selfish or harsh, boundaries are an expression of self-respect, a commitment to your own peace. The Stoics would have seen them as essential to living a life guided by reason and virtue. Boundaries are not about pushing people away, they're about defining what behavior you will and won't accept. As Marcus Aurelius wrote, we cannot control the actions of others, but we can control how we respond. When someone consistently disrespects you, manipulates your emotions, or drains your energy, setting clear limits isn't just wise, it's necessary. Start by being specific and direct. Whether it's a friend who constantly criticizes you, a colleague who dumps their responsibilities on you, or a partner who invades your privacy, make your limits known. For example, I'm not okay with being spoken to that way. If it continues, I'll need to step away. This kind of clarity removes room for confusion and reinforces your sense of agency. But setting a boundary is only the beginning. Enforcing it, consistently and calmly, is where your inner strength is tested. The Stoics emphasized discipline and emotional resilience. If someone pushes back, reacts with guilt-tripping, anger, or manipulation, stay firm. You're not responsible for their feelings, only for your actions. As Seneca advised, choose your company wisely. If someone refuses to respect your boundaries, it may be time to reconsider their place in your life. Letting go can be painful, but preserving your integrity and peace must come first. In the end, boundaries are a declaration. I value myself enough to protect my well-being. Through them, you uphold the Stoic ideals of wisdom, courage, and self-mastery, and build a life where your peace is not up for negotiation. The Stoic Blueprint: Principles to Anchor a Meaningful Life. At the heart of Stoic philosophy lies a set of guiding principles that offer clarity, stability, and strength in a chaotic world. The Stoics weren't interested in abstract theories, they were practical thinkers who believed that philosophy should help us live better, more virtuous lives. Their wisdom remains deeply relevant today, especially when facing toxic people or difficult situations. One of the most fundamental Stoic teachings is the dichotomy of control, the idea that we must distinguish between what is within our control and what is not. According to Epictetus, our thoughts, actions, and responses are ours to govern. But the behavior of others, external events, and outcomes, those are beyond our power. By focusing only on what we can influence, we preserve our peace and avoid unnecessary suffering. The Stoics also placed immense value on virtue, specifically wisdom, courage, justice, and self-discipline. To them, these weren't just abstract ideals but daily practices. When we act in accordance with virtue, we align ourselves with nature and reason. This means responding to harm not with vengeance, but with integrity, facing fear not with panic, but with courage, and treating others, even the difficult ones, with fairness and dignity. Another vital concept is apatheia, a calm state of mind. Undisturbed by external chaos. It doesn't mean being numb or indifferent. Rather, it's about mastering your emotions so they don't master you. This emotional discipline helps us remain level-headed in the face of manipulation, deceit, or cruelty. Marcus Aurelius often reflected on the interconnectedness of all people and the importance of community. But he also reminded us to guard our inner fortress, to be kind, but not naive. Compassionate, but not vulnerable to those who wish to harm us. Stoicism teaches us to live with clarity, resilience, and grace. In a world filled with noise and distraction, its principles are like a compass, guiding us back to what truly matters, a life rooted in virtue, reason, and unshakable inner peace.